Sometimes there's no one around to tell you to be quiet, to be very, very quiet. Sometimes you need to be quiet when you're all alone, like me, right now. Shh. For example, you'd better be quiet, extremely quiet, if you're going to be a peeping Tom. Because what if they heard? What if I found out? Guess what, Tyler Down? I found out. I feel sorry for you, Tyler. I do. Everyone else on these tapes so far must feel a little relieved. They came off as liars or jerks or insecure people lashing out at others. But your story, Tyler, it's kind of creepy. And I feel a little creepy telling it, too. Why? Because I'm trying to get closer to you, Tyler. I'm trying to understand the excitement of staring through someone's bedroom window, watching someone who doesn't know they're being watched, trying to catch them in the act of... What were you trying to catch me in the act of, Tyler? And were you disappointed? Or pleasantly surprised? Okay, a show of hands, please. Who knows where I am? Who knows where I'm standing right now? If you said outside Tyler's window, you're right. And that's A4 on your maps. Tyler's not home right now, but his parents are. And I really hope they don't come outside. Fortunately, there's a tall, thick bush just below his window, similar to my own window, so I'm feeling pretty safe. How are you feeling, Tyler? There's a meeting of the yearbook staff tonight, which I know involves a lot of pizza and gossip. So I know you won't be home until after it gets all nice and dark, which, as an amateur peeping Tom, I appreciate very much. So thank you, Tyler. Thanks for making this so easy. Let's take a peek inside before you get home, shall we? The hallway light's on, so I can see in pretty well, and yes, I see exactly what I expected. There's a bunch of camera equipment lying around. You've got quite a collection here, Tyler. A lens for every occasion. I know. I can hear you now. Those are for the yearbook, Hannah. I'm the student life photographer. And I'm sure that's why your parents were fine spending that kind of cash. But is that the only way you use this stuff? Candid shots of the student body? Ah, yes. Candid shots of the student body. Before coming out here, I took the initiative to look up candid in the dictionary. It's one of those words with many definitions, but there's one that's most appropriate. And here it is, memorized for your pleasure. Relating to photography of subjects acting naturally or spontaneously without being posed. So tell me, Tyler, those nights you stood outside my window, was I spontaneous enough for you? Did you catch me in all my natural, unposed... Wait, did you hear that? A car coming up the road. Is it you, Tyler? It sure is getting close. And there are the headlights. My heart definitely thinks it's you. My God, it's pounding. The car is turning up the driveway. It's you, Tyler. It's you. You haven't stopped the engine, so I'm going to keep talking. And yes, this is exciting. I can definitely see the thrill. Okay, listeners, ready? Car door and... Shh! Okay, Tyler. Here's the play-by-play. You're inside the house with the door shut. You're either checking in with Mom and Dad, saying everything went great, and this is going to be the best yearbook ever, or they didn't buy enough pizza and you are heading straight for the kitchen. As we wait, I'm going to go back and tell everyone how this all began. And if I'm wrong with the timeline, Tyler, find the other people on these tapes and let them know that you started peeping way before I caught you. You'll do that, right? All of you? You'll fill in the gaps? Because every story I'm telling leaves so many unanswered questions. For example, how long were you stalking me, Tyler? How long did you know my parents were out of town that week? How did you know? Okay, confession time. The rule around my house when the parents are away is that I'm not allowed to date. Their feeling, though they won't bring themselves to say it, is that I might enjoy the date too much and ask the boy to come inside. In previous stories, I told you that the rumors you've all heard about me weren't true. And they're not. but I never claimed to be a goody two-shoes. I did go out when my parents weren't home, but only because I could stay out as long as I wanted. And as you know, Tyler, on the night this all began, the boy I went out with walked me all the way to my front door. He stood there while I pulled out my keys to unlock the door. Then he left. Tyler's bedroom light is still off, so either he's having a detailed conversation with his parents, or he's still hungry. Fine. Have it your way, Tyler. I'll just keep talking about you. Were you hoping I'd invite the guy in? Or would that have made you jealous? Either way, after I went inside, alone, I washed my face and brushed my teeth, and the moment I stepped into my room, click. We all know the sound a camera makes when it snaps a picture. Even some of the digitals do it for nostalgia's sake, and I always keep my window open, about an inch or two, to let in fresh air. Which is how I knew someone was standing outside, but I denied it. It was way too creepy to admit to myself on the very first night of my parents' vacation. I was only freaking myself out, I said. Just getting used to being alone. Still, I wasn't dumb enough to change in front of the window, so I sat down on my bed. Click. Or maybe it wasn't a click, I told myself. Maybe it was a creak. My bed has a wooden frame that creaks a little. That was it. It had to be a creak. I pulled the blankets over my body and undressed beneath them. Then I put on my pajamas, doing everything as slowly as possible, afraid whoever was outside might snap another picture. After all, I wasn't totally sure what a peeping Tom got off on. But wait, another picture would prove he was there, right? Then I could call the police and... But the truth is, I didn't know what to hope for. My parents weren't home. I was alone. I figured ignoring him was my best option. And even though he was outside, I was too afraid of what might happen if he saw me reaching for the phone. Stupid? Yes. But did it make sense? Yes. At the time. So why was it so easy for Tyler to see into my room to begin with? Is that what you're asking? Do I always sleep with my shades wide open? Good question, victim blamers. But it wasn't that easy. The window blinds were kept at an angle exactly as I liked them. On clear nights, with my head on the pillow, I could fall asleep looking at the stars. And on stormy nights, I could watch lightning light up the clouds. When my dad found out that I kept the blinds open, even a crack, he walked out to the sidewalk to make sure no one could see me from the street. And they couldn't, so he walked from the sidewalk straight across the yard up to my window. And what did he find? That unless they were pretty tall and standing right outside my window on their tiptoes, I was invisible. So, how long did you stand like that, Tyler? It must have been pretty uncomfortable. And if you were willing to go through all that trouble just to get a peek at me, I hope you got at least something out of it. Had I known it was Tyler at the time, had I snuck under the blinds and looked up to see his face, I would have run outside and embarrassed the hell out of him. In fact, that brings up the most interesting part of... Wait. Here you come. We'll save that story for later. Let me describe Tyler's window for the rest of you. The shades are all the way down, yet I can see in. They're made of bamboo, or fake bamboo, and between each stick are varying amounts of space. If I stand on my tiptoes, like Tyler, I can reach a fairly wide open gap and see in. Okay, he's turning on the light, and he shuts the door. He's sitting on the bed. He's yanking off his shoes and now his socks. Maybe I should warn him, give him a chance to hide, to undress underneath the covers. Maybe I should tap on the window, or pound or kick on the wall. Maybe I should give him the same paranoia he gave me. After all, that's why I'm here, right? Revenge? No. Revenge would have been fun. Revenge, in a twisted way, would have given me some sense of satisfaction. This, standing outside Tyler's window, satisfies nothing. My mind is made up. So why? Why am I here? Well, what have I said? I just said I'm not here for me. And if you pass the tapes on, no one but those of you on the list will ever hear what I'm saying. So why am I here? I'm not here to watch you, Tyler. Calm down. I don't care what you're doing. In fact, I'm not even watching you right now. My back's against the wall and I'm staring at the street. It's one of those streets with trees on either side, their branches meeting high above like fingertips touching. Sounds poetic, doesn't it? I even wrote a poem once comparing streets like this to my favorite childhood rhyme. Here is the church, here is the steeple, open it up, yada yada yada. One of you even read that poem I wrote. We'll talk about that later. But I'm talking about Tyler now, and I'm still on Tyler's street, his dark and empty street. He just doesn't know I'm here. Yet. So let's wrap this up before he goes to bed. At school the next day, after Tyler's visit to my window, I told a girl who sat in front of me what happened. This girl's known for being a good listener and sympathetic, and I wanted someone to be afraid for me. I wanted someone to validate my fears. Well, she was definitely not the girl for that job. This girl's got a twisted side that very few of you know about. A peeping Tom, she said. You mean a real one? I think so, I told her. I always wondered what that'd be like, she said. Having a peeping Tom is kind of, I don't know, sexy. She smiled and raised an eyebrow. Do you think he'll come back? Honestly, the thought of him coming back never occurred to me, but now it was freaking me out. What if he does? I asked. Then you'll have to tell me about it, she said. And then she turned back around, ending our conversation. Now, this girl and I had never hung out. We took a lot of the same electives, we were nice to each other in class, and sometimes we talked about hanging out, but we never did. Here, I thought, was a golden opportunity. I tapped her on the shoulder and told her that my parents were out of town. How would she like to come over and catch a peeping Tom? After school, I went home with her to grab her stuff. Then she came over to my house. Since it was a weeknight and she was probably going to be out late, she told her parents we were working on a school project. We finished our homework at the dining room table, waiting for it to get dark outside. Her car was parked out front as bait. 2 girls. Irresistible, right? We moved into my bedroom and sat cross-legged on the bed, facing each other, talking about everything imaginable. To catch our peeping Tom, we knew we needed to keep the talking quiet. We needed to hear that first click. Her mouth dropped open. Her eyes, I've never seen them that happy. She whispered for me to keep talking. Pretend you don't hear. Just play along. I nodded. Then she covered her mouth and ad-libbed. Oh my God. You let him touch you where? We gossiped for a couple minutes, trying to hold back any inappropriate laughter, the kind that would have given us away. But the clicking sound stopped, and we were running out of things to gossip about. You know what I could use? She asked. A nice, deep back massage. You're evil, I whispered. She winked at me, then got up on her knees and worked her hands forward like a cat stretching until she was all the way down on my bed. Click. I straddled her back. Click. Pushed aside her hair. Click. And began rubbing her shoulders. Click, click. She turned away from the window and whispered, You know what it means if he stops taking pictures, right? I told her I didn't. It means he's doing something else. Click. Oh, well, she said. I kept rubbing her shoulders. In fact, I thought I was doing a pretty good job because she stopped talking and her lips curled into a beautiful smile. But then she whispered a new idea, a way to catch this pervert in the act. I told her no. One of us should just leave the room, say we need to use the bathroom, and call the cops. We could end it right there. But that didn't happen. No way, she said. I'm not leaving until I find out if I know him. What if he goes to our school? What if he does? I asked. She told me to follow her lead, then she rolled out from under my legs. According to her plan, when she said 3, I was going to charge the window. But I thought the peeping Tom might have left, might have gotten scared, because there hadn't been a click since I climbed off of her. It's time for some body lotion, she said. Click. That sound sent my anger through the roof. Okay, I can play this game, I thought. Look in my top drawer. She pointed to the drawer nearest the window, and I nodded. She pulled open the drawer, looked inside, and covered her mouth. What? There is nothing in my drawer worthy of a reaction like that. There is nothing in my whole room worthy of that. I didn't know you were into this, she said, nice and loud. We should use it together. Okay, I said. She reached into the drawer, pushed some things around, then covered her mouth again. Hannah, she said, how many of these do you have? You are definitely a naughty girl. Click, click. Very clever, I thought. Why don't you count them? So she did. Let's see now. Here's 1 and 2. I slid 1 foot off the bed. 3. I jumped at the window and yanked the cord. The blinds flew up. I looked for your face, but you were moving so fast. The other girl, she wasn't looking at your face, Tyler. Oh my God, she screamed. He's cramming his dick in his pants. So, who were you? I saw your height and your hair, but I couldn't see your face clearly enough. Still, you gave yourself up, Tyler. The next day at school, I asked so many people the exact same question. Where were you last night? Some said they were at home or at a friend's house, or at the movies. None of your business. But you, Tyler, you had the most defensive and interesting response of all. What, me? Nowhere. And for some reason, telling me you were nowhere made your eyes twitch and your forehead break into a sweat. Hey, at least you're original. And at least you stopped coming around my house. But your presence, Tyler, that never left. After your visits, I twisted my blinds shut every night. I locked out the stars, and I never saw lightning again. Each night, I simply turned out the lights and went to bed. Why didn't you leave me alone, Tyler? My house, my bedroom. They were supposed to be safe for me, safe from everything outside. But you were the one who took that away. Well, not all of it. But you took away what was left. So how important is your security, Tyler? What about your privacy? Maybe it's not as important to you as it was for me, but that's not for you to decide. So who was this mystery girl featured in your story, Tyler? Who smiled so beautifully when I rubbed her back? Who helped me expose you? Should I tell? That depends. What did she ever do to me? For the answer, insert tape 3. Oh, and Tyler, I'm standing outside your window again. I walked away to finish your story, but your bedroom light has been out for some time, so I'm back now. Knock, knock, Tyler. Don't worry, you'll find out soon enough.